a world where losing in your fantasy football league isn't an option, we present to you Triple Coverage Podcast.
Hey YouTubers, if you like what you see, make sure you click subscribe below. Today we're going to do our Thursday night triple threat bet. This is our Thursday night episode where we review last week's Thursday night game and we preview the upcoming game. We're about to do week 2 here, so crack a cold one and enjoy.
Stay tuned to see who's getting punished.
Punishment City.
Losing in your fantasy football league isn't an option.
I just don't know if I should be reading it
Present to you
right here.
Triple
Whatever
Coverage Podcast.
Oh, right here.
Spoiler alert, James is singing.
I'm with the boys at TCP. I'm with James Up and Jay Up.
Drake.
What's up, guys? What? And I am Travis Sutton, and I do not care.
We can even be cuter and call it treason, cheesin' preseason, so it's TCP.
Well, like all together, you're clearly gonna be sharing some of this load.
Hang on, sorry.
Sharing some of this load.
And we're about to share a load right here as James
No, we're not.
goes all over Drake.
All right, it's punishment time, I guess.
Welcome to the Triple Coverage Podcast. My name is Jay Up, and I'm here with my brother James.
What's up, guys?
Still no Travis,
Nope.
but the good news is Travis didn't lose, so he's okay.
That's not good news for me, but
He's
yeah.
excused.
Yeah, basically, I did have a 1 in 3 chance of losing, and here I am. Thanks to Jay, Jai, and, well, really, Julio. You got 0 from one of your guys and still won.
Mike Wallace gave me 0.
But that number 1 selection, when you have a prime time wide receiver in Julio, is sometimes enough. So it didn't even matter after you took that first guy who we took. There was no combination that would have won otherwise.
I could have just went with one guy.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you did, really. You could have had Aguilar and you passed on him too. So
if this is the first time you're watching this or first time you're listening to this episode, on Thursday nights, we like to do a little review preview, and we call it our Thursday night triple threat. So what we'll do is basically review week 1 today, and we're going to talk about the Atlanta Falcons and Philadelphia Eagles game. And then we're going to do James's punishment, which he lost. We talked about that bet. We each get 2 players, the 3 of us do. And it can't be quarterback. It's got to be one from each team. And whoever scores the least amount of fantasy points, they have to do a punishment song. And what we'll do is it's karaoke-style, and James picked Drake. So he'll be singing that a little bit later in the episode, so hang on for that.
You in the 6 is what it's called.
But first, we're going to review last week's Week 1 Thursday night game, Atlanta Falcons, Philadelphia Eagles. And this one was...
Is there much to talk about?
Pretty boring. This is going to be a pretty quick recap because I thought both teams didn't look very good at all. The only one that really stood out was Julio Jones.
I was just going to say, Julio Jones went off. Every Jay Ajayi owner is happy. He did what he was supposed to, which was bail you out with 2 touchdowns. He's only played 39% of the snaps, which was kind of alarming to me. But the fact that he got his 2 touchdowns, I guess, one of your week probably. I mean, he scored 20 points in a PPR league for a running back that's probably not your number 1, probably your number 2 or 3 back. So I mean, you did well if you did have Jay Ajayi, but Nick Foles and Matt Ryan to me looked horrible. I don't know if it's because the defense is so good or there's not clicking or what it was, but they both just underwhelmed me like completely.
Both teams have a good defense. Like, I'm not taking anything away, but Foles didn't look good at all in the preseason, and he kind of carried that over to the regular season. He only threw for 117 yards passing. Matt Ryan, though, even against, I know that Philadelphia is a good defense, but I felt like everything he threw deep was like underthrown.
Yep.
Like, I felt like he didn't have enough, like, I don't know, zip behind it. It was
Flair.
crazy.
Didn't have enough flair.
And not only that, but Sarkisian's play calling in the red zone, like, that's got to change, man, because it looks terrible. Like, it looked bad last year, and everyone said, oh, it's a second season under Sarkisian. Maybe things will be different. And it's like they could move the ball, but as soon as they got in the red zone, they didn't know what play to call. Like, they had Julio Jones. And the first time they got in the red zone, they ran the ball 4 times with Devontae Freeman.
I know.
Jones wasn't even on the field.
Yeah, there was
like, how do you not even put him out?
3 tight end set or
Yeah.
something. Austin Hooper and the crew.
Then they do get him out in the field for the red zone later in the game, and clearly he's double covered, and they're still trying to force him the ball. It's like, you don't trust anybody else?
The very ending of the game, though, to me was a point I wanted to touch on. So last year, you mentioned a few times before the Thursday game on our last week's episode that it came down to Julio Jones dropping that ball in the end zone or mistiming the jump or whatever. And now it comes down to the same situation. You're down 6 and you have the ball and you're right there on the goal line and you have 4 plays, and you don't throw the ball one time in play. He overthrew the receiver to the right on the first down. Second down, he throws over the tight end's head way out of the end zone. Third down, overthrows a guy. Then it comes down to fourth down. You have Julio Jones there on the bottom of the screen, one-on-one coverage, and you overthrow him again to the point where he has to jump over the guy to touch it, and then by the time he came down, he was way out of bounds. So
I felt like even if
4 times, you don't throw the ball in bounds one time?
Right.
Something's up.
And I felt like that last one, the very last one to Julio Jones, to me that was more Julio Jones' fault, and not taking away from his game because he had a fantastic game. His on that ball like that, he's got to jump straight up. Like I think even if the defender wasn't there, he would have landed out of bounds.
Yeah, he would have, but that's because of where the ball was.
But if he jumped straight up in the air, it's a different story. Like he basically jumped out of bounds.
I mean, the guy had a monster game. I mean, I think
I'm
you're
not
being a little
taking anything
nitpicky.
away from him. I'm saying on that very last throw of that game, I think that was more Julio Jones' fault than it was Matt Ryan's.
Well,
he had to throw it high, and that's a ball that you want to throw, 50-50 ball to Julio Jones.
One of the stats I did see that I want to mention, Matt Ryan is 1 for 20 in red zone targets to Julio Jones the last 2 years. 1 for 20. That's your number 1 receiver. That's a top 3 receiver in the NFL with a quarterback that we all say is above average. He's a top 10, top 12 guy easily as far as NFL quarterbacks go. He just won the MVP 2 years ago. He just won the MVP.
So what's his
So
deal?
I don't know what is going on between those two guys, but 1 for 20 with a guy who's 6'4", gigantic target. 1 for 20? I mean, something's up there.
Is that the play calling?
I don't know.
Or is it just, I don't get it either. Because to me, Julio Jones is a stud. He's a start him every week guy, no matter who the matchup is.
I'm just saying, if you gave me 20 throws to Julio Jones with coverage as an NFL quarterback, I would assume that any NFL quarterback could get 3 of those 20 to Julio. 1 for 20 is just atrocious. And if you're a Julio Jones owner, this is what kills you. His yards are always there. His receptions are always in the 80s, whatever. But it's just touchdowns are always low. He never has that 10 or 12 touchdown season like the Mike Evans or the Antonio Browns and so on and so forth. So, like, he's the guy that's going to get you yards and receptions. If he could just put the red zone targets together and get you an extra couple of 3 or 4 touchdowns on the season, you're talking he's wide receiver 1. Instead, he's wide receiver 3 or 4, which you still love, but you just wish his touchdowns were a little bit more. You know what I mean? He killed this week. Jay, this is what it came down to for our wall bet. Jay had the first pick. He went Julio Jones, and with his last pick, he went Mike Wallace. Julio scored 31. Wallace had 0. Travis went with Freeman and Jay Ajayi, both running backs. Freeman got hurt, still got him 8 points. Jay Ajayi got him 20.2. So he scored 28.2 and came in second place. I had Zach Ertz and Tevin Coleman. Coleman finished with 11.5. Ertz had 9.8 for 21.3 points. Again, I go with Zach Ertz, and I'm sorry, but this is the reason why I'm doing the punishment song, Drake You in the Six, because basically in this song he talks about how his mom's always trying to bail him out, and his mom's always trying to help him with like dating advice and other advice. In this case, I'm going to sing towards my mom giving me fantasy football advice, and wondering why I keep going with Zach Ertz only to be let down. 2 times he let us down in the $500 league that we're in year after year. I then get out of the $500 league, then Jay wins the league, and then I go and pick Zach Ertz week 1, and he has 3 drop passes. 2 of them are bad. The third one I'm saying it's a drop, wasn't horrible, but 2 hit him right in the hands, and he dropped him again. Could have won me my week. I only lost by less than 7 points. So if he gets 2 more catches in there for a couple of 25, 30 yards, I'm right there, and I'm not getting punished. But I am getting punished, and the wall bet punishment is going to be very, very hard. So bear with me, you two.
If you mess up, just keep going.
Okay, you see where it's at?
Yeah.
Play button there, and then the speaker's going to be on the bottom.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready, I guess.
All right.
Having conversations with mama. Man, Thursday night was a mess. Ain't been returning my texts so she can read in the press. She got iTunes alerts. Them shits go straight to her phone. To judge me from home, won't leave me alone. She said I heard you went with you-know-who. I told her, girl, I'll always go with you-know-who. Yeah. And she like, who are we kidding? You're 34. You're just being you. You're your father's child, man. Thank God you got some me in you. At least I always see it through. At least I'm always being true to what you taught me. Retired bookie, but your words still got me evolving. Never get sloppy drunk, but alcohol is problem solving. And look, I hate it when you hate on all my picks and my selections. Always convinced that there's someone better. Like that running back from Philly who played against you. I know you want to arrange it. You told me he's free Thursday, and I'm sure that he's an angel, but he don't want this life. His cartilage ain't right. Maybe 1 week, but even 1 week with us is a time of his life. We do things that people pay to document. You got the sweetest heart, but I'm not here to give out compliments or boost nobody's confidence, mama. I'm definitely ahead. But I'm here to... Wow, Jesus.
I got no friends in this.
No, not yet. I'm way ahead. I got no friends in this, mama. I don't pretend with this, mama. I don't joke with this, mama. I'll pull the knife on my back and I cut their throat with it, mama. I'm Facebook Live with it, mama. I'm year-round with it, mama. I'm still ahead. Hang on. I really hate using this tone with you, mama. I really hate getting aggressive on this phone with you, mama. I really hate wasting your time to check my flex for me, mama. TCP sweating me, mama. They just wannabes, mama. It's like, I'm the one they want to be, mama. I can't be out here losing these best of them, mama. I mean, I sing the hook, they sing along with me, mama. What more they want from me, mama? Damn, this is so bad. This is a crazy life. But you and Dad raised me right. What's the time on that? Don't ever take advice. That was great advice. You and fantasy football raised me right. That should save my life. I'm probably 40 seconds ahead there. Like
2 minutes 11 seconds.
Okay. I'm about 5 seconds ahead then.
That wasn't that bad.
That was really, really, really bad. I apologize for all the YouTube viewers out there. I will fix it before it goes up for sure.
We'll fix it on iTunes.
That's so hard to stay on beat with him because he keeps pausing and doing all this fancy stuff. So.
I didn't know that our mom was giving you these picks all along.
Yeah, well, she was disappointed because week 1 I didn't take her advice. I played Zach Ertz, and I said, you know what? Zach Ertz has screwed me 2 other times, but maybe this is going to be his year, you know? And then no, that would be the last time I ever pick Zach Ertz. I don't own it. Oh, no, I do own him in a fantasy league. I will be trading Zach Ertz as we speak because this guy can't be trusted. He just can't be trusted.
Can't trust
Sorry
him.
for that, YouTube, but... You know what? Everyone on iTunes is going to hear good versions. That's good.
Yeah, you know what else, too, is stick with us, especially on these Thursday episodes, because it's going to change. Like, last year, it was pretty equal as far as, like, having to sing. It wasn't, like,
no,
one person
me and
that had to
Travis
sing.
got it worse. I think I did the total. It was like, I had 6, Travis had... I had 5, Travis had 6, and I think you had, like, 4.
That's pretty even.
I mean, still...
6, 5, and 4? That's not
maybe
bad.
a 3.
It wasn't like one of us only had 1.
No. Well, that's because we change up the draft order every week.
Damn, and I was so ready to sing me and Julio down by the schoolyard.
That would have been.
With
I wish you would have. I wish I wouldn't have tried such a hard song for week 1, but now I got the hardest one out. I did write 2 other songs because I was nervous about singing this one, and the other 2 songs would have been really, really easy, and I could have killed it. I don't know if I should change it. I don't know.
I say stick with this one.
All right. Well, I guess that moves us to next week, Thursday. Baltimore Ravens at Cincinnati. The line was a pick'em. Is it still a pick'em?
It's -1 Cincinnati.
So Cincinnati is favored by 1 at home, and the over/under is
44.
44. Okay. What do you want to see in this game? I mean, Cincinnati had a decent week, but they also played the Indianapolis Colts.
And they had to come from behind.
Right. And now you have Baltimore, who put up 47 against Buffalo, only gave up 3. I don't think you can even judge that as a sample size.
That's what I mean. The problem is I don't know which Baltimore team we have really, because they absolutely just dominated Buffalo, but I think that's going to happen a lot to Buffalo this year.
Me too.
That's not the last time they're going to be just shellacked like they were in week 1. So I don't know what Ravens team is going to be here. I want to say go with the Bengals because I think they have better offensive weapons, but
I love these division games though.
For me
They're always
personally,
close.
yeah, I want to see a heavy dose of Joe Mixon because he handled I think 17 carries and he had 5 receptions last week in week 1, and they used him as an every down back, and he was used way more than Gio Bernard, going back to week 1. And then Marvin Lewis comes out and says that he could probably sustain more. Like he wants to get him about 20 to 22 carries. So a few more carries.
I think he's big enough to be fine with getting all those carries. I don't think that he's like one of those guys you worry about. Like if they said, Kerryon Johnson or one of these other smaller backs are going to get like Jerick McKinnon. When they were talking about Jerick McKinnon being an every down back, it scared me. It doesn't scare me with Joe Mixon. He's big and he can be an every down back and he can do everything. I think they use Gio Bernard pretty well as well, and I think he's a sneaky flex play for this week. But the over/under being 44. Baltimore put up the over/under last week for the Baltimore-Buffalo game was 40, and Baltimore put up 47 by themselves.
Right.
A lot of it was defensive, and it was just sloppy play from Buffalo. But if I have to bet this game, I'll take the home team only favored by 1. Basically, they just have to win the game outright. The over-under, I'm not sure on. I think I hate betting unders in games, but I guess I'll take the Bengals in the over.
Okay, so do you feel comfortable on the Cincinnati side of the ball? Do you feel comfortable starting Andy Dalton if you're streaming quarterbacks? Obviously, he's not your number one, but do you feel comfortable against the Baltimore defense? Because I don't really like starting a lot of guys on the Thursday night game.
He's a bubble guy for me, especially, yes, exactly. Like, I like starting guys on Thursday if they're studs, because you know you're going to get that big lead before Sunday even comes. Like the Julio Joneses, maybe the AJ Greens. If it's a guy that's like an okay start, I'd rather not go with him. I'd rather wait till Sunday and wait till later. If Andy Dalton happens to have a good game, or Joe Flacco has a good game, I'm okay with it. I'm okay, because I'm sure I have a better option than Flacco or Andy Dalton. But if you had to pick one of those two, who are you starting?
I would probably start Flacco.
Me too.
Historically, when Andy Dalton's been on television, he hasn't done very well.
Right.
He's kind of laid an egg every time he's on, the big
I
stage.
know that very well, yes.
So I don't trust Dalton very much this week, but on the other hand, I do trust AJ Green. And I know that Dalton's the one throwing him the ball, but I do trust AJ Green. I trust Joe Mixon, but I don't trust anybody else. I thought that if Ross was going to have a breakout, it was going to be last week against the Colts defense.
Me too.
And he just didn't do anything.
What about Eifert? You play him when he's healthy?
Yeah, but he's touchdown dependent.
Yeah.
Like, he has to get a touchdown for you to be relevant.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for Tyler Boyd to take over that.
Number 2 spot?
Yeah.
Over John Ross?
I'm sorry, Tyler Croft.
Tyler Croft.
They have every single Tyler on the team.
Yeah, they've drafted every Tyler. They got every Tyler they can possibly get.
They're trying to trade for Tyler Lockett, but Seattle locked him up.
What about the Baltimore side of the ball? Because if I have to choose between Flacco and Dalton, I'm choosing Flacco, like I said.
I like John Brown, I like Michael Crabtree, and I like Alex Collins. Outside of that, I'm waiting for the Mark Andrews and the other tight end, Hayden Hurst, to come back and to be productive. I'm not putting anything inside the tight end position. What about Nick Boyle?
Well, Hayden Hurst is out.
Right.
Which means you have Nick Boyle and you have Mark Andrews. Yeah. So I like Mark Andrews more than I like
But I'm not playing either one.
But I'm not playing him. There's better tight end options out there. Kenneth Dixon actually had a pretty good game until he got hurt again. He's questionable. And it's a short week, so the odds on him playing are probably pretty slim.
If I'm playing a second running back in Baltimore, it's going to be Buck Allen, and I don't love it. But if you're really
starting Collins,
if you're really weak at running back and you're really weak at your flex spot, Buck Allen maybe is just a desperation play. But I still want to see him get more touches before I commit to playing him every week for sure.
To me, Crabtree and Brown are a 50-50 guy. Like one of those guys may do well, but
what
I don't
about
think both of them
was
will.
anybody shocked about Willie Snead? I mean, Willie Snead comes in, catches a touchdown, and actually looked okay. Like, you didn't hear anything about him last season with New Orleans. Then he goes to Baltimore. You didn't hear anything about him during the preseason. You didn't hear anything about him in the OTAs. He was just, I was like, damn, is he getting buried in the depth chart already? Like, I thought he was going to be like the 4th or 5th guy and just keep getting buried. Then they let go of Perriman. All of a sudden now it's like they have the 3 guys. It's Crabtree, Brown.
Was hurt too.
And, right. So Willie Snead, I mean, is he anybody you're looking at to maybe put in a flex play?
No, he's somebody I would monitor on the way. He should be on your waivers first of all, if you're especially in a redraft. But he's somebody that you can just monitor, like somebody I'll flag, and if I see it a couple weeks in a row, then maybe somebody that you pick up. But I'm not suggesting you go pick him up and play him this week.
Yeah, I think
especially on a short week.
I think it's going to be a close game either way. I like the Bengals and the over as of right now. This is a recording on a Tuesday. My mind could change because it's going to be a really close game. So I'll wait probably till the last possible minute on Thursday to see if the line changes. Maybe I can get the Bengals at a pick'em or maybe +1 instead of where it's at right now, which is a -1. I want to see where the public bets first before I make my decision. This is one of those games that can go either way for me. I don't love it.
Yeah, I'm not super pumped about this game either, but it does have some fantasy implications. Like I said, like AJ Green, Mixon, Collins, possibly Flacco.
Speaking of fantasy implications, so since Travis couldn't make it here this week, we kind of made a deal with him and said that because I think he's moving and he might not be here next week as well, we went and reached out to a couple of people that we play with. We've actually had this guy on before. His name's Jimmy Garino. He actually is James Garino on Facebook. He runs Game Day Card Breaks, which is basically he goes and buys these expensive packs of cards and opens them live on air, and you buy in to a certain team, and if he pulls a card that happens to be from that team that you paid for, you get that card. And these cards are high-end cards that are autographed, jerseys, there's pieces of cleats, pieces of helmets, all this other stuff.
Now they have like rubies, diamonds, and emeralds in the card.
Inside the card. It's a whole different game now with this cards, with the card collecting from when me and you had our card shop and our parents owned that. But yeah, so he was able to say, yeah, you know what, I'll commit to that. If I lose, then what do I have to do? We basically told him he's going to have to sing a song like I just did. And he wasn't for it at first, but he said, you know what, you guys need a favor. I'm here to help you out. So he joined us. We just did the drawing right before we recorded this episode.
He won't have to worry about singing.
Well, that's so you say. I ended up drawing the number 1 pick, and I went with AJ Green as my first guy. And Jimmy drew the number 2, and he went with Joe Mixon as his first guy. Jay, you drew the number 3.
Mm-hmm.
Who did you decide to go with? You had to take a Bengal and a Raven. You went with?
I went with Alex Collins.
Alex Collins with your first pick, but we did snake draft, so you had the 3rd and the 4th pick. So you went Alex Collins, and now you had to take a Bengal.
Right, I had to take a Bengal, so my options were basically Ross or Eifert, and I went with John Ross.
So Jay has Alex Collins and John Ross. Jimmy, with his second pick, took Michael Crabtree. So Jimmy's going to have Joe Mixon and Crabtree. I had the last pick, and I went John Brown. So I have AJ Green and John Brown. Jay has Alex Collins and John Ross, and Jimmy has Joe Mixon and Crabtree. So to me, this all comes down to, is AJ Green going to have the night that Julio Jones had? If so, I don't have to worry about it. But if AJ Green's non-existent and I got to hope that John Brown bails me out, I'm not feeling great. You have a starting running back in Collins. Jimmy's got a starting running back in Mixon. So I mean, I like your guys' chances more than I do. I mean, I can't pass on AJ Green though at number 1. So
I would have went AJ Green number 1 also.
And then I just basically take whatever's left over at number 6, and that was John Brown or Willie Snead. I went John Brown. If Willie Snead has a huge game, I'm gonna be more pissed off. Like I can't win these Thursday nights sometimes. Like I thought last week having Zach Ertz and Tevin Coleman, my chances were pretty good. I knew you having Julio and purposely not taking Aguilar. I thought opened the door for me and Travis a little bit, and then it was Julio Jones just dude. I knew I was done at halftime. Yeah. I was basically cheering for Ajayi not to do well.
But then Freeman gets hurt, so it kind of opens the door even more for Coleman.
No, when Coleman got his touchdown in the 3rd or 4th quarter, whenever it was, I told Sydney, I was like, I just won. I was like, okay, I'm going to finish in 2nd place now. I'm good. As long as Ajayi doesn't score a long touchdown or a long catch, I should be good. 4th quarter, touchdown Ajayi. And I'm like, this cannot. And Coleman was still the only running back that was in the whole 4th quarter and just couldn't get it done. They were passing to everyone but Coleman. So I got burned last week. I hope I don't have to go back-to-back songs, but at this point, now I'm only going to feel more comfortable doing it. So week 1, I got it out of the way. I don't have to worry about having that on my conscience for the entire week, stressing about it.
I would love to hear Jimmy sing, though. I'm not gonna lie.
I think we would have to help him do it, because we're gonna have to do it over Google Hangouts, or he's gonna have to come in the studio at some point during the next week to record it, because I'm not letting him out of it. That's for sure. If he loses, you lose. You pay the piper. You don't get away with it like Travis did last year 2 times. He does it once.
I don't have anything prepared.
So I don't have anything prepared. What do you want me to do? Well, we're recording, so I don't know. What do you want to do? Obviously not sing.
Let me write the lyrics for you really fast. Hang on.
So yeah, hopefully Jimmy's prepared, and I will make sure that he is for next week if he does lose. If not, Jay, Alex Collins, and John Ross, to me, you're at the biggest disadvantage. So good luck.
I think the number 3 pick usually is the biggest disadvantage. So we'll see if I can come away with it. I'm okay with singing. I actually kind of like writing the lyrics. Not singing so much, but I actually kind of enjoy writing the lyrics.
Yeah, it's fun, but then it's just different because it's karaoke and you can't hear the guy singing to like stay on cue. And if you pick a song that's like a rap or a hard song, it sometimes gets you. It's very, you're being recorded on YouTube, then you're being recorded over here on iTunes, and then you got 2 people in the studio with all eyes on you. It's a lot of pressure. I don't know how these guys perform on stage. I couldn't handle it.
You won't hear any country songs. It's gonna be either like rock or like old school rock or rap.
Right.
It's pretty much it. You're not gonna hear any techno.
I'm gonna try to get Jimmy
country
to do like It's Raining Men or something. You know what I mean? Hallelujah, it's raining men.
I don't know if I want to hear that.
He's got Mixon and Crabtree.
I want to hear him rap, actually.
Sir Mixon a lot, maybe?
I want to hear him.
Sir Mix a lot? I like big butts?
I don't know.
We'll see.
I'd rather hear Posse on Broadway if he's going to do Sir Mix-a-Lot.
I don't even know if he knows that. I don't even know what Jimmy listens to be honest with you. It might be country. So maybe we will hear a country song.
Yikes.
Right? So stay tuned for that. Yeah,
I don't know what he listens to either.
Well, we'll put up on YouTube. You guys can vote on who you think is going to finish in last place. Jay, you'll put that up for us?
I'll put that up.
Mixon Crabtree. This is in a PPR league. Mixon Crabtree, Alex Collins and John Ross, or AJ Green and John Brown. We'll also put it up on Instagram as well, so you can take a vote sometime this week. Right?
Let's do it.
Let's crack it.
Let's crack it.